welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Fresno Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is Fresno Megan Hoffmeyer and Fresno John Levingood.
Oh, I was gonna be jealous if you didn't include me in a Fresno.
Yeah, you got. I was thinking about maybe calling it Jersey John and Miami Mo, but I just stuck with Fresno because I didn't want people, it felt good. We all want to be Fresno Bob.
Oh no, I want to be Jersey John.
You want to? Okay. All right. Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Milwaukee Mark, and joining me is Jersey John and Miami Mo.
So, yo, hey, how's
What's
it going?
up?
I just came out here from the Hudson River. I was bottling with my empty Schlitz. I was filling it with water from the Hudson. I'm just going to put a cap on this. Boom. Jersey River water. Going to make $1 million. That's $1 million idea.
River water lager. I can't say that
That's
quick.
right.
River water?
Say it,
Jersey
John.
River water.
River. Oh my goodness gracious! So we did a episode the other day. It hasn't come out yet, but I did one with Norbert where I tried to recreate the sounds of the creature from Leviathan. No, we've released it. So if you go to Final Fights and you listen to me trying to recreate the sounds of the Leviathan, I lost it. It's like me trying to say river water lager. John, can you do it in the voice?
10 times fast.
River water. Right now I can't.
Lager.
Definitely.
See, it's tough, right?
River water lager.
There it is.
But then I start to lose the water. When I do that, I can't do it.
On Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook, I asked for some questions for this very special episode. It's our 275th episode. Every 25th episode, except for some special occasions, we talk about a Kurt Russell film. And I reached out for questions, and Norbert Morvan asked, if you say the name Lee Van Cleef 5 times into a mirror, does he appear and grant you 3 mustaches?
I think that a mustache appears and kills you.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
It goes, so this is what happens. If you say Lee Van Cleef 5 times in a mirror, you grow a mustache. But then that mustache becomes Kurt Russell's mustache from The Hateful Eight, and it just kills you. I was going to get really dark and brutal about what it does to you.
It doesn't inject little nanobites into your blood and then blow you up?
Yeah, the mustache grows into your body, goes up in your nose, and then chokes your brain.
Like in the movie Splinter.
Yes, exactly.
Like twisted, infects you like in the ruins too, and those plants grow into you.
And it waits until you're in a gas station to do this.
Yeah.
It's from a creature feature called Splinter. It's Shea Wiggum. Shea Wiggum headlines a creature feature, Megan. How happy are you? Shay's the best. We love some Shea. He's butter.
We should do Splinter one day if Meg was up for that.
I would love to do some Splinter. That movie's great.
I love Splinter.
That's an underrated creature feature.
It's fantastic.
Underrated creature feature?
Underrated creature feature. Stop. Is he trying? Tongue twisters.
But you alliterated that very well.
Underrated creature feature. Oh, hey, I got one. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. I finally got one right. So I have so many notes about Escape from New York. I mean, we have been watching this movie for years. I mean, I was telling Megan's parents, we were up at their house this past weekend, and we watched both Escape from New York and L.A., and I told them about how when I was 14, I bought tickets for a movie, snuck in L.A. I love Snake Plissken. John here's got me Escape from New York action figures from Australia.
Yep.
So I got that.
They're old school Funko.
Old school Funko, like really cool stuff. I'm just a big Snake Plissken guy. Always have, always will. And this podcast, I mean, also John and I are currently wearing sleeveless shirts. And if you listen to the first episode of Movies, Films, and Flicks, we are wearing, well, it's all about Kurt Russell's sleeveless shirts, John.
And you can't
his
see
greatest sleeveless shirts.
Yeah.
But I have an eye patch on.
Yeah, and Megan's wearing an eye patch. I mean, we're all set for this.
I rubbed my eye pretty hard this morning. It was kind of dry a little bit this morning. So it's like, that's close. I almost needed an eye patch.
You got some red eye. It looks great. Now, John, I'm really disappointed. In our episode 250 or 225, we covered Captain Ron. And in that episode, I did some research for this, and I learned that Captain Ron pops up in a comic book that takes place after Escape from New York, where Snake Plissken gets a military Humvee. This is, Johnny Num, I'll get to your question a little bit here. I know you're listening. He gets into a military Humvee after he rescues the president. He goes to Atlantic City, and his plan is to steal the car that JFK was assassinated in. It goes wrong. Some guy puts him in a crab trap and tries to drown him. And a guy named Captain Ron Hill saves Snake.
What do you look like?
I haven't read the comic yet, but this is John Carpenter's bringing this to us.
No way. I didn't know that. I never heard of that.
And so I wish, now I know that Captain Ron and Snake are kind of tied together.
In the same
Well,
universe.
first off,
Yeah.
anyone listening since the beginning knows that we basically always knew that. We were always true believers of the Snake Plissken timeline that spans very many Kurt Russell movies.
The first 100 episodes, John, I made a reference to Kurt Russell in the beginning of every single episode.
Oh yeah. There were times that you forgot, and then something would organically come up later.
KR came up in every episode.
The Cinematic Pliskin Universe, the CPU.
Oh, that'd be great. The CPU. All right, now this ties into a question from Johnny Numb, and he asks, more a choose-your-own-adventure. After the president hits play and the big band music blends into that Carpenter-Howarth synth score as Pliskin unspools the actual tape and walks out of frame, and the screen goes black, what happens next? Can be minutes, days, weeks, etc. after. So we know about Captain Ron, but let's try to come up with our own spin. What does Snake do after he unspools this tape and walks away? So what do you guys think, as opposed to Captain Ron? I think he's got to get his leg treated. There's some funky stuff in there.
Yeah.
I think that he immediately signed up to be a trucker.
Yeah. Breakdown?
And as the world was slowly collapsing after the chain of events of failing that like international summit thing that President Loomis was hosting, right? Like then it took years and years, and then the world degenerated more and more and more, and then eventually they had their second prison region of L.A. and he had to come back out of retirement. And I guess after fighting 5,000-year-old Chinese sorcerers, he was like, you know what? Escape from prison lands isn't so bad.
Oh, wow. So he becomes a truck driver, beats Lo Pan, and then has to... Oh, my gosh.
Well, I mean, first he was sick of the world, right?
Yeah.
He actually spent some time off the grid in Antarctica.
Yeah, he did. Pouring whiskey into computers.
But that job, he didn't even keep that long enough for his pension to get vested. So, he immediately had to do something that would put money on the table, and he became that trucker.
See, I told you, the Cinematic Pliskin Universe, it's real.
We need a timeline. We need a grid.
Think about it. Who takes a job at the Antarctic research post? Someone who's so sick of the world, like after getting out, no thanks whatsoever, risking your life to save the president. And then the president isn't really that grateful, if we're being honest, right?
No.
You're just like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to hang out with a bunch of guys and get pissed off at Chess Wizard and drink a lot of J&B.
That sounds pretty fun.
Right? And then when that began panning out, trucker made sense. You're on the road. You see people only when you want to, right? But then the world fell apart, and they needed Snake again. So he threw that eye patch back on. That eye patch is basically like his alter ego.
Do you think he became either a firefighter or a construction worker after this? Did he travel to foreign countries to a gelatinous circle that sent him to a desert planet? What else do you think he got into, Megan?
Oh, shoot. I think the eye patch might actually be Tony Starkist. There's some tech in there, and it gives him vision of the world around him.
Whoa.
X-ray. There's video feedback in there.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Go for it. He might have commissioned, a black ops job for the military, where he went and saved our world from some other world, and then though just to make some financial ends meet, almost like going to a sperm bank or something, he basically donated his DNA for a clone so that someone could use him in the future.
Wow.
For powerful soldiers.
I see it.
That way he could take it easy again afterwards.
Well, we know that one of his grandfather was a firefighter, and we know that maybe his great-grandfather was a bounty hunter, so he wanted to pursue that kind of life to make up for that.
It's an exciting life. I can't blame him.
Do you think he hunted down his evil twin brother stuntman?
Oh gosh, that's right on line. See, for all I know, that gets a little fuzzy. That really might be a jaded future Snake.
Oh man.
He's been through so much at this point. Oh my God, wait. Do you mean, Megan, Mark, wait for it, like the Manitou?
Yes.
And it's like a later iteration of the Manitou, and it's so powerful, it's just power hungry.
Yep.
Like a Native American shaman monster.
Just a super powerful spirit.
Do you think he tried to put shoes on computers?
I don't know why you wouldn't do that. He probably did that in his youth, though, when he was precocious.
We were thinking about this. Do you think, at the end of Fast Five, Dom gives Vince's wife and son probably like $8 million, $10 million. Do you think Snake went to Fresno Bob's wife's house and gave her the broken tape?
He's not a good guy. We know that.
Yeah, that's why he gave her the broken tape. Try to make it work. It might be worth something. What do you think? No? You don't think he went to Fresno Bob to make it right?
I think that's too much work. I don't see Snake taking that effort.
Yeah.
I think, all right, so once John and I used to work Comic-Cons, and one time John was given, John and I were talking about what to do next, and we kind of figured out what to do next, and John just goes, oh.
Mark, I believe that you had assigned me to do something that I was not in the mood to do, so I turned into a 14-year-old who was given extra homework.
Do you think Snake did that after when realizing how much walking he'd have to do to go help out Fresno Bob's family?
He'd be like, I'm too tired, maybe later.
Yeah. Yeah. You gonna kill me now? Nah.
I'm tired.
You know what I love about I listened, so I bought this or I got the Shout Factory Blu-ray for my birthday or Christmas. Megan got it for me, and I listened to all 3 commentaries, did all the research you could do on this, and I found out something pretty cool. When they were shooting this movie, John Carpenter and some of the producers, Deborah Hill, they sent a location scout across the country to find the worst city in the country, and that's what they said. And I'm not saying St. Louis was the worst city in the country, but they shot there because of the big fires in downtown St. Louis. So he traveled all around the country because they didn't have much money. Like Roger Corman, John would find a place that was going to be blown up, and he was like, can I film it and get that production value? So they went all around the country looking for places that looked like a big city, but they could film for cheap. And the fire in St. Louis really helped. And so they shot all nights, which I thought was really cool. The production designer, I got his name up here, the production designer, Joe Alvis, he snuck in all of his crew at night. And I mean, so John, he'd worked on Jaws, Close Encounters, Drop Zone, all this stuff. They snuck in all that crap that you see on the streets, John. And they had from 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. every morning. And then about 3 or 4, his crew would come back in to throw all the crap back on the street to do it.
They clean that between daytimes.
Like a bulldozer, a big truck, like a snowplow would come through and push it all off the streets so cars could get through.
Clean seems like a very loose description. More like moved.
Yeah, so cars could get through. And so they filmed, and then they bought that plane, cut it up, brought it into St. Louis without permits, and shot that scene. And the next day there were reports, there's a plane crash in downtown St. Louis. Eyewitnesses have this to say. But yeah, so this movie, I mean, it only cost $6 million at the time, which right now is about $17 million, which really isn't that much. So they were very creative as how they had to shoot this thing. And I don't see much of the budget being stretched. What do you think, Megan and John? Do you think they used the budget really well on this?
Hey, another cool story about one of the buildings in the background. So it was the Swift printing company at the time. It was one of the burned out, ruined exteriors. The fires nearly ruined it, which is now home to the Schlafly Tap Room.
Oh.
And a few years ago, Schlafly did a collaboration with Right Proper, and they had a Pliskin Saison.
John, did we go there when we worked together in St. Louis? Did you work with me in St.Louis?
We did that. Actually, we did St. Louis twice in a really short period of time for some reason.
I almost got killed by a ice thing. A hunk of ice fell off a skyscraper and landed 4 feet from my head.
I was not there for that.
It scared me. Now whenever I walk by buildings, I'm terrified. Did we go to Schlafly? We went to a pizza place. Did we go to Schlafly?
That doesn't ring a bell, man.
Oh.
Well, if you walked by it, you would have been tracing Pliskin's footsteps.
Oh my gosh.
He ran by the building.
That's so cool. I love this movie. And I don't know. They stretched the budget. It looks great. I mean, everything looks reliably grungy. And I don't know, John, do you think they stretched the budget pretty well on this? Did you see any did you notice anything kind of weird about the flick, or do you think it looks great?
I don't have as good an eye for those things as you do, but I just remember thinking this is a lot of different filming locations that have been, made dilapidated or graffitied up and with debris all over it. I felt like that was what caught my eye, is how many different locations or sets, but I'm assuming it's locations in this case, were dressed up.
Well, so I have a pretty interesting question.